Live action movies. Hit and miss, right? Barely any good ones. Of course, we got the Street Fighter movie coming up. We saw the cast. We got MK2 coming up. People, let's discuss the best and worst live action films ever. Fighting game movies. What's the best? Which one was the biggest stinker? You know the drift. Let's go. Let's take a look at some of the categories here. And of course, as you can see, in last place, complete utter garbage. We're talking 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, maybe even in the minuses. After that, you have meh, something like 2 to 3 out of 10, just meh. After that, you have it was all right, it was aight, satisfactory, I guess, possible. Then you have a huge gap, emphasizing the difference between the two. Clear space. Then of course at the top you have the best, meaning the best live action flick ever. Fighting game live action flick. So now you've got the categories, let's go. So to state the obvious, the best live action martial art flick is the original Mortal Kombat, the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. Like they said, it was lightning in a bottle, and guess what? Because it was the first time we saw these characters on screen, I know everyone was hyped. I know I was hyped when I saw Sub-Zero freeze the gun, Scorpion, Spear, Raiden, Liu Kang killed it. All these guys killed it. It more or less set the bar, and no one actually surpassed it. After that, it's the go-to movie and a classic. But here's the thing, it wasn't perfect. And let's be honest, if this was released today, people would try and pick it apart. Of course, there were inconsistencies in the movie. For example, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, the faces of the game. They were lackeys in this movie. They were jobbers. Let's be honest. Scorpion and Sub-Zero, slaves under Shang Tsung's power. In what world? Inconsistent to the lore. And of course you have someone like a Johnny Cage who defeated Goro in a flawless victory. Everyone knows in the original Mortal Kombat no one could touch Goro. The only person that could beat Goro is Liu Kang, and Johnny Cage defeated him in a flawless victory in this movie. So again, there are stuff people would pick apart today from this movie, but here's the reality of it. It's still the best one, and it's the closest thing you have to the best Mortal Kombat movie or best live action flick. I recently rewatched it, and yeah, it still holds up. Yes, it has its flaws, but again, the cast had chemistry, a decent story, fight scenes were on point, the music was on point, probably one of the most important elements there. Reptile versus Liu Kang, the music in the background elevated that fight. So it had everything going for it. Good cast, good music. Yes, it has its flaws, but by far the best live action fighting game movie, and I don't think there's a person on this planet that would disagree. So the top spot and the best and the only good movie on here is Mortal Kombat 1. Now we discussed the best. Now the worst. What is complete and utter garbage from the list you see here? And the answer is pretty obvious to me, and the worst live action flick I've ever seen in my lifetime is Dragon Ball Evolution. Good God Almighty. I don't need to say much here. I think I've spoken on this plenty of times. This movie was so bad it was almost an insult. And for the love of me, I don't know why the people who are in charge of this franchise cleared this. Now here's the kicker. If you released this movie and didn't call it Dragon Ball and it was something else, I'd give it a pass. The second you're calling this shit Dragon Ball, this is the worst live action flick ever. The worst casting I've ever seen in my life. I was insulted watching this movie. Chow Yun-Fat, I've said this before. This guy has some great movies in his catalog. You should be ashamed of yourself for taking this part. Damaged his legacy, the worst live action movie ever. Not one single soul can tell me different. You've had the best of the best, now you have the bottom of the bottom. Horrific movie. Now let's try and find something for It Was Alright. And I'm gonna go with Street Fighter the movie. Now, like I said at the start of the video, there is only one good movie on this list. Street Fighter the movie is not good. I'm not one of these guys trying to rewrite history now coming back and telling you this is a good movie. It's not. The plot was all over the place. Characters were inconsistent. Obviously, Guile's not the star of Street Fighter. Obviously, Charlie doesn't turn into Blanca, so everything was all over the place. But you know what this is? A fun movie. As people will call it, a guilty pleasure. But yeah, this is far from a good movie, has its flaws. I've always said this. Look at Street Fighter the movie as a comedy, then there's no problem. But yeah, I'll definitely rather rewatch this shit than most of the garbage you see down here. And let's give Van Damme his due. A lot of people, again, this is when Van Damme is one of the biggest action stars in the world. A lot of people went to see Street Fighter the movie based off Van Damme's name. Let's give the man his props. They know they get a good fight scene out of the dude. Of course, Raul Julia was there, but Van Damme was the star. He was the draw. But yeah, you can't take it seriously. Guilty pleasure. It's aight. Nothing special. Again, we were young at the time. We were hyped. You release that shit today, probably wouldn't fly. But it's actually kinda looking better than what we've seen now from this new cast. Imagine that. The King of Fighters. Good God Almighty. Now you know my stance on this. And this is going into complete and utter garbage. This is now the second time I was offended watching this live action flick. I was offended for the SNK fans, for the King of Fighters people. What was this? That was a slap in the face. Terrible casting for every single character. You have got to be kidding me. So now there's a next dimension. Essentially, there's an outworld in King of Fighters now, and to get there you have to use a Bluetooth connection. Are you kidding me? Is this a joke? Who wrote this dog shit? You have to put something in your ear and you get transported to it. What the hell is this, the Matrix? Garbage movie. Kyo doesn't even look Japanese, he's a white dude. Terrible performance. Spent the entire movie getting his ass kicked and barely scrapes a win at the end. Awful. Rugal, played by Ray Parks, cool martial artist, but a terrible pick for Rugal. Again, I've said this before. Rugal is intimidating, 7 foot something. This guy was shorter than the girls. Vice and Mature were towering over Rugal. Rugal was a joke in this movie. 1 minute running around in hockey clothes, next minute looking like a goofball. Garbage movie. Terry Bogard, a washed up CIA agent. Bro, put this shit in the bin. A slap in the face of any SNK fan. Utter garbage. The King of Fighters. If Dragon Ball Evolution didn't exist, I would crown this the worst live action flick ever. So because of that, it is the second worst live action flick ever. Good grief, man. What's next? Let's go with Dead or Alive. Now, Dead or Alive, I didn't go into this expecting much because the Dead or Alive story isn't all that anyway. So my expectations weren't that high, and what I got was a cliche, cheesy movie. I guess the gooners were happy. You had a ton of the ass shots, bikini shots. The cameraman was having the time of his life. I guess Dead or Alive is just about hot girls running around, right? And you got that in this film, I guess. It's just one of those movies where you turn your brain off. Obviously, there's ridiculous fight scenes, cheesy acting. An embarrassing moment in this film is when you see the legendary Robin Shou, star of Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang, playing a freaking jobber, knocked out in 5 seconds by Tina. Wow, Liu Kang at this point, hang it up, bruh. Check wasn't worth it, but yeah, to me, meh movie. Nothing special. The 2021 Mortal Kombat movie. Your boy Cole Young's shit, right? It's between meh and alright, and it's only alright because of 3 people: Kano, Sub-Zero, and Kung Lao. No one else killed it for me. Like I said, I thought that rating was terrible. A lot of people underperformed. Reiko, that was absolutely diabolical. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I can't put it. It's obviously better than Annihilation. You know what, I'll put in. Honestly, I thought this movie was either meh or mid. 4.9 or 5 out of 10, so that would go in mid, I guess. So it's aight. Had some decent fatalities, 3 actors killed it. Again, better than some of the garbage you see down here. So yeah, once again, not a good movie. I'll put in, it was aight. Tekken, the movie. Yeah, that was... I was saying this was garbage, but unfortunately I watched the sequel. And yeah, I'm gonna put this in meh. Obviously the storyline was stupid, everything was all over the place. Steve Fox training Jin. Christy Montero, a white girl going after Jin. At least some of the costumes were okay, there were some decent fights, but for the most part, this was actually shite. But again, these ones at the bottom, you can't put in the same category as a King of Fighters and a Dragon Ball Evolution. So I'll leave it in meh. Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Again, this is garbage. Obviously, some of the worst acting you'll ever see. Characters all over the place. Some of the costumes look decent, but for the most part, this is bad. And it's bad because we had the first movie. If this came out by itself before the original 1995, it wouldn't have been received as bad as it was. But because we saw that before, then we downgraded to this. Yeah, this is awful. But I will say this, I'd rather watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation than Dragon Ball Evolution or King of Fighters. I can tell you that much. So I'll put it in meh. Double Dragon. Wow. Again, the Double Dragon is a beat 'em up series. You don't expect any great storyline. Again, this was cheesy 90s cheese. Throwaway shit, corny, cheesy, cliche stuff. Meh. Again, because of Dragon Ball Evolution, I can't put it in the same category. I'm gonna go with meh. Nothing special here. Mark Dacascos, a good martial artist. But yeah, he couldn't save this. Yeah, not a good movie. A joke, to be honest. Fist of the North Star. Oh dear, oh dear. Now, I'm a huge fan of Fist of the North Star. Like the anime, I've seen all the anime series, every single one. Dope. Gary Daniels, if you don't know, he played Brian Fury in Tekken. Awesome martial artist. He has some decent movies. Blood Moon. A couple of other ones. But he was a terrible Kenshiro. Didn't fit the role. Shin was terrible. This was diabolical. I think Vader made a guest appearance here as Hart. But yeah, this is garbage. This was actually shite. Can I put it in complete utter garbage though? Yeah, as a Fist of the North Star fan, I did feel offended. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to put it in complete garbage. But it's obviously gonna go in front of King of Fighters Well, behind, I should say. Nothing beats those. Well, let me hold my breath. Legends of Chun-Li was garbage, terrible casting. Bison, a blonde Irish guy with no psycho powers. Chun-Li skinny. Vega, the guy from Black Eyed Peas. Ludicrous. Utter trash. In the words of Dudley, gutter trash. Charlie Nash, played by the guy from American Pie. Yo. And of course, their performances. They didn't look the part, and when it came down to it, did they perform? No, but this movie was gutter trash. Tekken 2, the movie. Now, of course, on Rotten Tomatoes, it got 0%. Before I watched it, it had 2 out of 10. And I can confirm to you, the audience watching this video right now, Tekken 2, Kazuya's Revenge, a movie you've probably never heard of, is complete and utter garbage. An hour of my life I can't get back. Horrendous movie. Dude spent the entire... First of all, let's get something straight. It's not even the same guy who plays Kazuya in the Tekken movie. Too small, doesn't even look like Kazuya. Spends the entire movie not knowing who he is. This guy finds out he's Kazuya Mishima 2 minutes before the movie ends. You can't make this shit up. Kari Togawa appearing 2 minutes before the movie ends to tell him he's Kazuya Mishima, then kisses his girlfriend and she dies. Because apparently this is a prequel to the Tekken movie. Bro, stop it. Terrible. Hey Hachi, why even put your name to this? Maybe you needed a check, but this is easily one of Kari Togawa's worst movies, and this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Stay clear away from this movie. Good grief. They gave it 2 out of 10. They might have been a bit generous there. And that pretty much sums it up, people. So at the bottom, yep, Dragon Ball Evolution, rock bottom, King of Fighters second, Tekken, yep, in this order, yep, and then Fist of the North Star. So yeah, from worst to least worst. I'm happy with that. Like the meh, and it's alright, you can rearrange them to whatever you want, doesn't matter. There's only one good movie here, to me. So yeah, people, that's it. List your top 5.